come back home, and I am unable to take time off with my daughter because I just took 2 weeks off. So, my wife, of course, she got her maternal leave. And I remember saying to my brother, that really sucks. And he was like, listen, unless you own your own, you'll never be free. And I was like, well, I don't know what business to start, what's going to happen. And I was like, I want to do that real estate thing everybody's doing on cable TV. And he was like, that credit thing you do where you fix people's credit. He's like, you should start a company doing that. And I'm like, no, I'm doing that for free. Everybody needs that help. He's like, and he said his second line to me. He was like, they're going to pay somebody. They might as well pay you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Matt Drinkon. Welcome back to the Eternal Optimist podcast, where we get to talk about stories of people that overcome massively hard stuff. And then we get to see how they have recovered or endured or learned or just somehow found a way forward. And now we're impacting the world in amazing ways. And today we have a special treat. We have described as the Haitian CEO, Mr. Herman Dolce is here with us today. And Herman, he's got some stuff, man. So he's going to share with you some amazing stories. And I've already been enjoying talking with him. So Herman, welcome to the show. How are you today, sir?
Matt, thank you so much for having me and trusting me to speak to your audience on the dopest podcast around the Eternal Optimist. I am absolutely honored. How are you doing today?
Dude, man, we are fired up. We're just coming off. We're recording this on November 1st, 2024. So we've got Halloween hangover, if you will. I had 3 Reese's peanut butter cups last night after 9 p.m. So I got a little bit of a sugar hangover. But my kids were so fired up. By about the 10th house, they were tired of wearing their wigs. They were all playing the Descendants, those Disney characters. So they were tired of wearing their wigs. So they gave them to me and told me to wear them. So I am wearing Chloe's wig, and that's the girl that has the blue hair. So I'm wearing this blue wig all night last night. So you ask how I'm doing. I'm just laughing a little bit, enjoying life, enjoying the time with our kids. Back at you. How are you doing today? What is it that you're really enjoying what is it you're really enjoying in your life right now, Herman?
How do I answer that? Because that's a really good question. So when you talked about your daughters, I have young daughters too, Bella, Sloan, and Olivia Monroe. And I tell God all the time, I thank God for health, wealth, moments, and time, right? So you see, I'm in my home office, my /man cave, and my kids, they're going to find a way down here be in this room. And yesterday they were just in this room all night with me, and I'm enjoying my time with my daughters. I got small little girls, and I cherish those moments because, as you know, they grow up really, really fast, and in a blink of an eye, they'll be walking out the door. So I'm enjoying life right now, especially with my 2 little girls.
Something I want to appreciate about you already. You started by sharing that you want to thank God for your family. And you said the words health and wealth every night and every morning. So at night at our big dinner with everyone, and at morning with the breakfast with the kids, because my wife's not up yet. She's not like a 6 a.m. riser. So we always we say a prayer every morning, and we always thank God for our health and our wealth and our happiness, which is the way we finish it. So I love to bring faith into conversations. It's not where we normally stay for a long time, but I wanted to just honor you for that, because that's a big part of our dinner table and a big part of our family. So thank you for
absolutely.
Thank you for diving in with us. So Herman, give us some context. Take a minute or two. Just give us a little bit of background. Where did you grow up? What's your education, your family? Just give us a little bit of background before we dive into some of the challenges, please.
So again, Matt and the listening audience, my name is Herman Dolce, also known as the Haitian CEO. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. And my family moved me to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania when I was around 11 years old. So Brooklyn made me, but Philly raised me. Went to Temple University for my undergrad and got my master's degree from Lincoln University. And I was a social worker at first. And then after my master's degree, I became an assistant executive director for a nonprofit. And while I was doing that, I was making $55,000 a year, right?
Okay.
And I got married to my beautiful wife of 11 years right now, who gave me those two beautiful girls. We went to Italy for our baby moon. Now, for those who are listening, baby moon is like the last trip you take as an adult before, the kids change your life.
Ah,
So, right.
okay.
We always ask, like, what's a baby moon? We had a blast. We were gone for like 10 days. My wife is extremely good at traveling on a budget. I have seen parts of this world I would have never thought I would have seen because my wife just knows how to figure things out. Come back home. Long story, because I'm closing in on the 2-minute mark. Come back home, and I am unable to take time off with my daughter because I just took 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
So my wife, of course, she got her maternal leave. And I remember saying to my brother, that really sucks. And he was like, listen, unless you own your own, you'll never be free. And I was like, well, I don't know a business to start. What's going to happen? And I was like, I want to do that real estate thing everybody's doing on cable TV.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like, that credit thing you do where you fix people's credit. He's like, you should like start a company doing that. And I'm like, no, like I'm doing that for free. Like everybody needs that help. He's like, and he said his second line to me. He was like, they're going to pay somebody. They might as well pay you.
Fair.
And then the rest is history. I started Sloan Enterprises. We started fixing people's credit. Then we started the funding component of it. And then we started the mentorship of it because everybody's like, oh, I want to learn what you do. And those are the 3 pillars of the company. And 8 years later, we've made something pretty amazing.
Wow. Amazing. The story that from social worker to nonprofit to CEO,
Right.
and now helping thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and amazing. So let's dive in. Can you give us? Let's just start with what was the first like big challenge you had in getting your business going, and let us start with the challenges on the way to building your company. So what comes to
Um,
mind as the first big challenge you had, Herman?
the biggest challenge is understanding systems with your business, because what I did in the beginning when I first started my business is I by accident gave myself a second job, right? So what do I mean by that is I worked
Okay.
my 9 to 5. When I got home at 5:30, 6 o'clock, I started Sloan Enterprises. And then from 6 to 11 p.m., I was working on the business, right? And because I didn't have systems in place or hired people or really truly understood how to create a business, I, I was like a year and a half in, and I was like, wow, I just gave myself a second job, and I'm always tired. Now I'm working literally 16, 17 hours a day. And then, I took some mentorships. I invested back in myself by getting some mentors, and I realized I need to hire out, get some software, get some systems, buy back my time, and truly become a CEO and just delegate. And that took me some time to learn. But now I'm able to teach people that, and now I'm a mentor to other people and show them how to cut the line, because your time is your most valuable asset.
One of the things I love about your story so far, and there's no way around it, listeners, that Herman, if you hear what he shared from 6 to 11 p.m. for
Mm-hmm.
a while. I mean, this is not, I'm
Yeah.
just going to go start a new business and it's going to be all easy and simple. I don't know any entrepreneur that says it's easy and simple when they get started. And just,
Mm-hmm.
I want to appreciate you because you just said it took you some time to learn. You had to
Right.
invest in yourself and to other mentors to help you figure it out. Just
Mm-hmm.
amazing. These are, I think I saw on your YouTube channel, or I saw somewhere on your social media, you had a shirt on that said "Success has clues" or something of that nature. You had that on your shirt.
Success has receipts.
Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
from what I see, just in that shirt and your story, it does have receipts, and the receipt is 6 to 11 p.m. every night,
Yes.
building your
Right.
business for more than a year, and
Yeah.
that is what it means to me. So,
Yeah.
what was that like to go full time in the day, come home, work full time building a second business like your business? I mean, what
Mm-hmm.
was that grind like for you for that period in your life, Herman?
Um, there's good, bad, and ugly with it. I have an
Yeah.
appreciation, number one, of where I am right now. It's almost like when you get the workout videos back in the day, you got to press play every single day. And so it taught me a lot. Number two, it was very painful. It is very difficult, but I learned to fall in love with the process. Somebody gave me an amazing analogy. She was like, stop going for touchdowns, just go for first downs, because eventually you're going to get a touchdown. So that's what I did. Every day I pressed play. Every day I worked on the business. Every day I learned something new. I got 1% better. Eventually I was going to have $100,000 a year. Eventually I was going to have $100,000 a month. Eventually I was going to have $1,000,000 a year, because I was going after first downs and being patient with myself. But I was doing the work every single day.
I love that. I learned to fall in love with the process, and you just keep getting first downs. You're going to score touchdowns. I mean, it's beautiful. And how did this time when you were building the business, I know you're still building, but the time when you were really initially building 6 to 11 p.m., how did that impact you and your wife?
Ooh, we're going to get personal. It was challenging. I'm not going to lie to you, because remember, Bella is a baby. And I'm working many, many hours. But what I will say this, I will say two things. Number one, my wife is an amazing human being. I think her being married to me has saved my life in many ways, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. Number two, I have an amazing village. So my father, right, I have to tell the full story. I have to tell the full story, the good, bad, and ugly about it. My father passed away 6 weeks ago, right? And I bring that up because when my father first had a stroke 9 years ago, he moved in with me and my wife. So my mom moved in with us. So we were taking care of my father. And then my mom was elderly. We told her, hey, retire, because the business was doing good enough that I was able to replace her salary. I was like, hey, mom, just move in with us. I'm telling you this because when it comes to my family, having my mother in the house with me, and as far as I'm concerned, she still takes care of me. Having her in the house with my wife, taking care of my daughter, made it so much easier to build the business, because my mom was waking up, she was cooking, she was helping cleaning, my wife was there. So she had live-in help and a support that in turn helped support me, because as you know, when it's just you and your wife, it's hard. And you're raising 3 beautiful girls. So it was hard too. And I'm a little bit older. I'm 43. My wife is 44. So we had children later in life. So we knew we were going to go back to back and have kids. So Olivia Monroe was born 18 months later. And thank God my mother was here. So my village made it easier to build this business, even though it was difficult to do. I couldn't imagine how hard it could have been if I didn't have my mother here with me.
Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful how we have certain things that happen in life, and we've got to go with the flow, and we got to do whatever it takes, and to serve your family the way you have, to bring your mom and dad in. I think it's a beautiful symphony of all of your strengths. I also want to give a little bit of credit, a lot of credit, to our wives
Yes, a lot.
who they, how do I say it? They have to put up with us as we are in this business building mode. So thank you, ladies. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. And you say that she saved your life spiritually, mentally, physically. Just I can say the same thing in every one of those ways. So great to hear that. And I'm sorry to hear that your dad passed away. That's probably the hardest time of my life. That was the hardest day of my life for sure. It was 19 years ago.
Oh wow, 19 years ago, and still you feel it. It feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
So we're still going through that journey. My mom was married to my father for 47 years, and he passed away. Yeah, a long time. So I have a great example of until death do us part. Good times and in bad time, richer or for poorer. So I'm 11 years in, and it was an amazing part of my life, because my father deposited a lot of things in me that made me who I am right now. How to be a good father, how to be a good husband. So I have a great example, and I'm with love, with anybody that we love, everyone is borrowed to us. So I fully understood that. I'm glad he was in my house. We were all together. It's that wonderful story where we're all together when he took his last breath. So we had that amazing journey with him. And it was, we had a great going home ceremony, and
Yes.
we miss him dearly, but he put amazing things in us that um, make continue to build the business, a great passion of mine. My children got to meet him. They still remember him. They still talk about him, even though they're a little younger. So they have some memory of him. So I'm super excited about that. And it's another
Awesome.
part of my story when I talk about my passion and my business, and how he played a part in that.
Fantastic. I love the way you honor him. How did you get the moniker the Haitian CEO?
So, of course, my family is from Haiti. Both
Mhm.
my parents came to are immigrants, and they came to America in 1978. So I'm Haitian, and when I first started the business, I was excited to get that title CEO, not understanding what came along with being a real CEO.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I just, the Instagram came out about 10 years ago, and I was like, oh, this is a good name, Haitian CEO, not knowing that it can turn into something that I would be branded as later on. Because when I walk in the street and people recognize me, they say two things: Mr. Sloan, because they think that my last name is Sloan because the name of the business is Bella Sloan,
Yeah,
or they
yeah.
call me Hey Haitian CEO. So branding that's another masterclass we could do on branding and how important it is and what gets attached to you.
I'm so glad to meet you and talk to someone who is Haitian, who has a Haitian background, because my experience with people from Haiti, I have only had really two encounters with people from Haiti, and they were both people who were driving my taxi cab when I was in Florida. And
Uh,
both of them were incredibly humble. They were hardworking.
hmm
They were direct, and they had a big
hmm
smile and love for life. But they also didn't
Right.
have what they didn't have like means. Like they were people that like came from a meager financial background, but they were genuinely happy people, and they
hmm
spoke well of their country, their pride of their country, but
hmm
also they spoke of their fear
hmm
of being in Haiti. So to meet someone who is of Haitian descent, who has found some success and is impacting thousands and tens of thousands of lives, that's
hmm
inspirational, to me. So I just wanted to say that you're my you're my first Haitian I'm getting to know personally, and this is pretty cool. So having said
Absolutely.
that,
Thank you.
let's get to your passion and kind of what you're doing right now to impact the world today, Herman. Can you break it down for us? Tell us your
So,
story.
absolutely. So God's going to ask me when I meet him one day, what did you do with the time that I gave you? So I'm going to tell him I taught people financial literacy. It became a significant passion of mine when I learned about credit, when I learned about money, when I learned about leverage and the freedom that comes with it. So, as I said, we started with credit. We help people fix their credit, get it together. And when your credit is better now, banks like to give you money or give you credit. But it's not just about getting the credit, but being able to leverage that credit to create cash flow businesses that help you buy back your time. I want to give you a quick example of that. I remember when I was moving into my house now, I live on an acre of land, and I was looking at the property. My next door neighbor was mowing his lawn, and I was looking at the property, and I walked over to him. I was like, hey, I'm interested in a house. And I was like, how long does it take you to mow your lawn? Because I came from a row home in Philadelphia. I never had to mow a lawn before. And he's like, oh, it takes me about 3 hours. I was like, 3 hours to mow a lawn front and back.
Whoa.
And he's a hand mower, right? And I was like, that's a lot. And I was like, I never want to do that. Fast forward, Bellastone Enterprises started making some good side money. And then I hired a gentleman to mow my lawn, and he has the rider. It takes him 25 minutes, and he charged me $40. So very quickly, I realized something: time versus money, right? I was like, I know I'm worth more than $40 an hour. I know I am. My consultant fees is more higher, is way higher than that. So I know I'm going to give him the $40, and because I know that's worth more than my 3 hours of time, and then I can use that time to spend time with my children, my wife, or to expand the business even more. So whenever I give that example to people, I'm telling them, hey, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to make your life even better because I want you to buy back time. And when you buy back time, that's when you truly are rich.
Fantastic.
And that's what we do, where we show them to fix their credit, get their leverage, show them what to invest in, whether it's real estate, Toro, stocks, whatever it is, so that they can get time back in their life. So my parents, they were able to retire early because they made good decisions in their stock portfolio. And, I was able to take care of them. So they had time. So the last 10 years of my dad's life, my mother's still alive, they haven't worked. And I want to give people those options too, because it still is possible. It's a little bit more difficult now, because I tell people my parents raised me for a world that no longer exists, but still, there's still options, and it's still possible for this time freedom that we can do when we leverage credit or money.
What is the common misconception or just the fallacy out there that people may believe or think that you may be able to help educate them on that can save them or serve them?
Oh, this might be a hot take. It's
awesome.
Not that
I love a hot take. Ooh, get ready, audience. Hot take.
All right. It is not that hard to make $1 million. It's not.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay.
So we're going to pause in there. We're going to pause right there. So now, of course, this is Herman almost a decade in, and we've made millions before, right? The first million was difficult because I didn't know anything. I didn't know what I was doing. I tripped into it. It was a total accident. But again, as I said at the beginning of the interview, once I got systems in place, once I took mentorships, once I went to somebody that made $1 million, then I was like, oh, it's not that hard to make $1 million. He's like, no, you just got to have systems in place, a plan. You have to have branding, and you have to get first downs every day. You will make it. And so once I made my first $1 million, and guys, let's not forget about taxes and payroll and all that stuff. But I did it once. I was like, oh, I can do it again. And why I tell people this is another hot take. Why haven't you made $1 million? Because this is going to hurt. Because you're stupid, ignorant, or lazy.
Ooh, and look in the mirror.
I know. When people say that, it gets really offensive because it hurts. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, right now is the easiest time to make that type of money, right? You can sell anything. Literally, I teach at prisons financial literacy from time to time. And one of the people that was in prison, he's like, hey, my wife buys things from the thrift store for $1 and will sell it on her Etsy store for $50, right? So she literally makes 50x her money, and she does that all the time. So it was like, hey, how can we put gasoline on that? So I'm teaching them how to get business credit cards and how to leverage that. And then, I give them a blueprint how their wife can make her first $100,000. His wife is going to make $1 million at some point. But I keep telling people, because of the internet, because of YouTube University, because of running ads in these different platforms, once you are educated on it and you implement that in your business, I promise you, you can get to that place. I tell people all the time, if you miss 2 to 3 summers, I promise you, your life is going to change. Just put your head down.
Yeah. I love the way you say this. I've always said that being in my car is my mobile university, because I listen to either a podcast or I listen to something on YouTube, and it's been a great level up. So I guess what I'm hearing right now, I love accountability, and I love it when you said you're either stupid, ignorant, or lazy. Look in the mirror. And I would say I'm not trying to, call people out and shame you. I'm trying to challenge you, just like Herman is, to take accountability for the idea that if you're watching Netflix for 3 hours a night and you're not making $1 million and you want to, then your expectations are out of alignment with your actions, and you can get that, by mentoring with someone like Herman, by, investing yourself with, you can call it YouTube University, get a mentor, but that is the time. And Herman just modeled it perfectly for all of us. Work full time in the day, 6 to 11 at night for years. And now overnight success 10 years later, here we are.
Exactly. Right? Overnight success 10 years later. Everybody wants $1 million, but don't have $1 million habits.
So that's it. I heard a quote from a client on a call a couple days ago. It was from Nick Saban. It was, there are 2 types of pain, and you get to choose which one you have. You can either have the pain from discipline or the pain from not having discipline. and
Mm.
consider that. So I love your message. I love an accountable message. Was there ever a moment for you, Herman, when you had to look yourself in the mirror and say, I've not been accountable and I've got to be? Did you ever have an epiphany moment like that on the business rise when you were doing all this?
1000%. And it happened when my wife got pregnant,
Okay.
and I was making 50,000 a year after taxes. I think I was taking home 30 something, 37,000. And this is for me. This is not for everybody. But I had to hold myself accountable that I took this woman from her father's house, and I impregnated her, and I have to take care of these people because it's my responsibility. And I had to do that with $37,000. And I was like, this isn't it, especially if we wanted to have more children.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out, and that usually happens when you become a father and a husband, like there's something that turns on.
Yeah.
I had to figure out how to take care of these two women primarily. Now it's three women primarily. And it just put a battery in my back, and I had to figure out. So I didn't have the luxury of making excuses. I didn't have the luxury of pointing fingers. I didn't have that. I had to look into myself. Now we all have, obstacles that make success difficult. We all
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Whether you're a man or woman, race, color, socioeconomical, your background, we all have these obstacles. We all do. No one is exempt, right? But I still have to take accountability. I still have to figure out what I can do, because I have seen too many successful people in front of my eyes for me not to say, well, I can do that too. They don't have a superpower. I can do that too. Now, it probably took them 2 years to do it. If it takes me 5 years, it take me 10 years, and that's what it's going to take, because I took this woman from her father's house. I said, we're going to have children. Then I got to step up to the plate and be accountable. And I got to be up late. I got to miss those nights. And going back to our wives, she understood that. And I was like, babe, please be patient with me. I promise you, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to figure this out. And thank God I figured it out. We have an amazing brand, and I'm able to take care of my family, take them all over the world. I was able to retire my mother. And those are the riches in my life. When people ask me, how rich are you? I was like, that doesn't really matter. I was able to retire my mom, and my dad was in hospice in my house. So he had staff in the house, and I was able to pay for staff and the oxygen machine. And I was like, well, how much does it cost? That means more to me than anything else in the world. And my business helped me do that.
Heck yeah, man. I honor you for that. That's a beautiful story. And man, so many different places I want to dig. I'll go back in time before we get to this. Let's go back in time 1 second. You said that you teach financial literacy at prisons. How did you get involved in that? Why is that on your radar right now, Herman?
Well, again, a lot of this is my passion, right? So
yes.
When my thesis, when I was doing my master's degrees, was the correlations between violence and economics,
Okay.
right? So I did a study in the Philadelphia area, and I made the correlation. I was like, listen, where there's poverty, there's an increase in crime,
Yes.
right? Obviously, right? There's an increase in crime. So I was like, if we can fix that poverty mindset or opportunity, it will correlate with less crime. So what I did was, when I wrote the paper, got a good grade on it. My dad always wanted me to continue go get my PhD. I was like, there's no way that's happening. The master's degree kicked my butt. I never want to write like that again. But so now, when the opportunity came to me, because I have a lot of amazing people that come to me, it's like, hey, I have a great opportunity to talk in the prisons. And now you can do it online. So, and I used to be a social worker, so I used to have to go see my clients sometime in prison. But so it's part of my history. So I'm talking to these men and these women that are in prison, and they're about to come out. And the 9.9 times out of 10,
Yeah.
right? They don't have money. They didn't have an opportunity. So they had to figure something out. So me being able to teach them how to fix their credit, and they can open a bank account while they're in prison because they can do it online. I'm showing them how to fix their credit because fortunately, but unfortunately, they have time, right, to do that while they're in there. So they're fixing it. So when they're coming out of prison, I have positioned these people to help them have $10,000 to $20,000 in capital on credit cards, of course, so that they could invest in themselves. And they're in there and they already learned a skill, whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks. So when they get out, they're focusing on that, auditing their circle, because that's another tag of mine, because you have to separate yourself, audit your circle. And now they have the time, they have the knowledge, and they have the money to better themselves, to become better citizens in this society. And now with that
Wow.
information that they have, guess what they're going to do? They're going to tell their friends, they're going to tell their family, they're going to deposit that into their children also. And they have an amazing story. Listen, I was in prison. I did
Yeah.
5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Now I have a business. I'm making money. Because here's the other thing. When you have a record, it's hard for you to get a job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they almost have to have this skill of understanding money and financial literacy in order for them to survive. So I feel that I'm doing my part to help people not go back to prison by giving them financial literacy.
So many positive, resounding things are coming from this. So yeah, thank you. That's pretty cool. Any nerves, like when you walk into prison for the first time to serve these people? Like what's that like the first time you walk in?
Scary. It's just like on TV. It's scary. The bars close behind you. Sometimes you have somebody who did a petty crime, and sometimes you had somebody who killed, and they're right next door. Somebody who killed 5 people. He's a serial killer. He's never getting out. It's very
Wow.
frightening. It's very scary. But of course, with anything, it's when it's scary, you do it enough time, you become numb to it. So I did that in my social work days. But right now, it's more so online that I do it. But still. I'm still able to get the message out. A lot of these inmates, they still have internet access. So they follow me on Instagram. They watch my YouTube and they see me. They know of me, which is very surprising to me. And they DM me from time to time, and my team responds to them, giving them some information because they don't have the money to buy courses or certain like things like that. So the YouTube University and following me on Instagram, because I post every single day, they get
Okay.
those gems, they execute on it. And
Okay.
that's another line. They execute on the information and they see that it works. And then, once you're in the rabbit hole, you're like, oh my God, this works. What else do you have? And then it goes kind of crazy from there.
Wow. Wow. Well, so take us through just someone out there is listening right now and they're wondering, well, what does Herman have to offer? Like, is there a course? Is there one-on-one? Is it a mastermind? Can you talk to us a little bit about the different ways that you serve people?
So I tell people the free version first. So
Okay.
follow me on Instagram, Haitian_CEO. I post every single day at 6 a.m.
Okay.
I'm on YouTube, and it's my business name, Bella Sloan Enterprises on YouTube. And I have my long format content where I teach people how to fix their credit with my amazing coaches, how to set up their business properly, get their LLC properly, how to raise capital on the business and personal side for themselves, because a lot of people are in real estate trucking. They always come to me, hey, I need $20,000, $30,000. I show them how to do that, what banks to go to do that. And when they're able to do that, they do amazing things. So that's the free version. The paid version is I have a $50 a month subscription program, Bella Sloan Academy, where me and my mentees, we meet every single Wednesday night. We are almost at 2,000 subscribers, and we meet every Wednesday night and we talk about different topics. Different coaches come out because I don't know everything, so I want to put them in front of different people. And we're talking about trust and insurance and assets and buying businesses and selling businesses and just amazing topics that they would have never thought about. And I bring those amazing coaches to them to teach them different things every single week.
Wow, 2,000 people impacting in a huge way. And by the way, I'm looking at the Instagram site right now, 179,000 followers. And if you want to see a really cool picture, you got to look at this profile picture. This, I think Idris Elba, watch out. We got the new James Bond here. This is very dapper. This is a nice outfit. I like to dress up from time to time.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool website. Check out Instagram, Haitian CEO. Yeah, this is great. If someone wants to get started, just find out more. That's the best place, Haitian CEO, and look for that call on Wednesdays.
Yeah, Haitian_CEO. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on TikTok. And again, they can check us out on YouTube. Bella Sloan Enterprises. And if they ever want to sign up for an amazing community where we meet every week and we have a private Facebook group where we talk and everybody drops their questions and have greater access to me, it's the best place to do it. And we are here to serve, me and my team.
Fantastic. And this is fantastic. I see a couple of my friends actually follow you too on here. So this is cool. This is cool. Well, we're going to wrap things up and go into our lightning round here, Herman.
I'm
And
excited. I'm
to
excited.
let's move it forward here. So, 3 questions to wrap up. One, what might be 1 to 3 books that you'd recommend that have had an impact in your life so far?
Ooh, okay. Are you ready? This
We're
is
ready,
funny.
baby.
I'm going to tell you why this is funny. Because I have the books right here. Oh, I'm making a mess. I have the books right here. So I'm gonna bring it up for you. All right. Number
Nice.
1, I have 10x is easier than 2x by Dan Sullivan. I really like this book because, and I actually met Dan Sullivan. Why I like this book is, so I told my CEO, Damaris, who took over, so now I'm the founder of Sloan Enterprises. I was like, hey, we're at 500 subscribers. How do we get to 1,000? And, just double. And I think that's a great business model. Double revenue, double your subscribers.
Yeah.
Went to the conference, met Dan Sullivan, and he was like, no, we're not going to double. You're going to say 10x. And I was like, well, 10x is a lot in my mind, right? And he gave a great speech and example of that. And I remember when I called my CEO, Damaris, and I was like, well, what would it take to get to 10,000? And then she was like, and I can hear her thinking. She's like, oh, let me think about that. Because here's why 10x is easier than 2x. Because if you say you're going to 2x, then your brain is going to think what I got to do to 2x. You would have never tried to figure out 10x if you didn't tell yourself to 10x. So say, for instance, you don't make it to 10x, right? Because I wanted to get to 2,000. I wanted to get from 500 to 1,000. Instead, we went from 500 to 2,000. I didn't reach 10x, but I'm at 2,000. I was only planning for 1,000. So whatever your goals are, 10x it, right? We only pray for the things that we think are possible.
Yes.
Pray for the impossible. Work for the impossible, because you'll land in a way, way different place. So that's the first book. The second book is The Compound Effect. The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. This is a great book because New York Times bestseller book. This is a great book because people think that success is an incline like this. So it's 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. No, it's not. Success doesn't work like that. Success is exponential, right? So it's more like a curve, right? So the more you do the things you do and you get better at the things you do, right? You 10x, you don't 2x. So
Yes.
when I hired a CEO, I thought revenue was going to go from 10,000 a month to 20,000 a month. It didn't. Revenue went from $10,000 to $40,000 a month in 60 days because I had a CEO who implemented systems, hired virtual assistants, and it just went crazy. And all we did was put the same thing we were doing and put it in that machine, and it became exponential, right? So being able to understand those things really help. And the last book is, there's no way you can invite a Haitian CEO somewhere and not talk about credit. So credit and business funding. So Credit Mastery is an amazing book that I've read, and it talks about fixing your credit, getting funding for your businesses and capital. It's an amazing book. It's on Amazon. Really, really good read. So these are the 3 books that foundational books I think everybody should be reading right now.
Fantastic. Wow, what a great way to start. I tried to reach, I'm not able to do it because my headset doesn't reach that far, but 10x easier than 2x is literally the book that's like a foot outside of my reach over here. I'm studying it.
You have it.
Yeah, with a number of clients right now. Yeah, we did Who Not How a couple years ago. We did The Gap in the Gain last year. We're really into the Darren Hardy and Ben Hardy and Dan.
And he signed my book. I'm so excited. I got a great copy. Yeah.
This is good stuff. Awesome. Okay, well then let's go to music. What type of music or song or artist inspires you and just, fills your bucket?
Ooh, geez, I'm a man of a certain age, so I listen to everything: country music, Dolly Parton; gospel music, Kirk Franklin; rap music, Biggie Smalls and Tupac. It is a plethora of music. My wife always says that your ears are the ears of God, because you listen to absolutely everything. So I can't pick a certain thing, but I just love music. It makes me feel good. Next to listening to podcasts in the car, there's some type of tunes playing when I'm on my way out or getting ready to go somewhere.
Let's just say that in a certain number of days, weeks, or years from now, you're going to be sharing the stage with Tony Robbins at Business Mastery. He's going to bring you up on stage and you're going to go and teach and coach people. What is going to be your entry song, like your coming out song on the stage with Tony when you're up there in a year or so?
Okay. Probably Jay-Z's Rock Boys in the Building Tonight. I think that's the song.
Nice.
That's a Jay-Z song.
Awesome. I'm writing that down. The Building Tonight. All right, got it. All right. Herman, last question. I give you the last word, sir. You are on the Eternal Optimist podcast. What might Eternal Optimist mean to you?
The Eternal Optimist means to me is that anything is truly possible because I serve an eternal God. So I have to bring it back to faith. I have to really trick myself and remind myself at all times that anything is possible, because I realized this year, it's not something I've always known, that I was praying too small. I serve a really big God, and he put big things inside of me. So I'm going to pray for really, really big things, no matter how difficult it is and how dark this world can be. Because there's some really, really terrible things that are happening. Because I was a social worker, so I saw terrible things in my life that people had to deal with, whether it's children or adults. They've been through some things. But the optimist in me takes over the pessimism, because I think that anything is possible, because I've seen miracles in my life. I've seen miracles in my friend's life. I've seen miracles in my clients' lives. I've seen people go from jail to become a millionaire. So I think, and because I've seen that these things are possible, I've been brainwashed to think that I've been brainwashed to be an eternal optimist. And I'm unapologetic about it.